I'm going to show you an advanced hypertrophy training technique that I like to program in a lot of my hypertrophy programs. It's something called myo-reps. So this essentially compresses high stimulus repetitions into a short window. It's similar to a rest pause method combined with a cluster method. So the way that you set this up is you're going to have an initial activation set. And so in this activation set, a general rule of thumb is somewhere between 10 and 15 reps is a good rep range to start at. It doesn't have to be that, but that's a good middle ground. And this comes out to about 65 to 75% of your 1 rep max if it's a movement that you have a 1 rep max calculation for. You're going to take this set to or near failure, so somewhere between 0 and 1 RIR. And then you're going to take a brief rest. And this is how you're going to do your resting intervals for this entire myo-rep set. And it's only going to be about 10 to 20 seconds. So you're going to perform that initial activation set between 10 and 15 reps to or near failure. And then you're going to rest for about 10 or 20 seconds. Then you're going to perform a series of mini sets. And so in these mini sets, you're only going to be able to perform about 2 to 5 reps per mini set because you're already fatigued. And then you're going to rest another 10 to 20 seconds, and then you're going to do the next mini set. And so after the initial activation set, you can do anywhere between 2 and 4 mini sets to follow that up. And so what this does is a couple of things that a normal straight set doesn't do quite as efficiently. And so the first thing that it does is the high threshold motor unit recruitment is extremely high with a myo-rep set versus a straight set. And the reason for this is when you take that initial activation set to or near failure, you're recruiting a ton of fast twitch muscle fibers. And then when you go into the mini sets, you've already recruited all of those high threshold motor units that are already ready to go, that you don't have to waste time recruiting again by doing all the repetitions to build up to that threshold when you're already at or near failure. And so you get to take advantage of that recruitment throughout all of those mini sets without having to do those uptake reps to get to that point in each subsequent set, if that makes sense. The next thing it does, you get a ton of metabolic stress. So metabolic stress is that burning sensation or that pump sensation that you get when you're pushing near failure in any type of exercise. So it's an accumulation of metabolites like lactate, all the hydrogen atoms that you're building up as you're exercising. But because you're doing all these in such short intervals, they can accumulate throughout the entire set. And then the last thing is very time efficient. So I like to just program one of these after my initial working sets, and it's a great way to get that stimulus while still being very time efficient. So I hope this helps.